Al pie del Ávila majestuoso, a 920 metros sobre el nivel del mar, en un valle de verde geografía que se abre de este a oeste, surge Caracas, la capital de Venezuela.
And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Go get some!
What's good, everybody? Then welcome to another episode of the Comeback Club, ladies and gentlemen, because we are back with a brand new episode. This is the episode number 34, because right now we're going to preview the UFC 312. And right now, I just wanted to tell you, make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube, also to my co-host right there, which is Zenith, because this is when Western martial arts, boxing, and wrestling fans are united to hang out with us at the podcast where we give you like a close-up of previews, reviews to the pay-per-view. There are trending in the world of the combat sports during the weekend. Also, we got debate. It's a show with 100% extreme attitude, because in this show, in this club, we're born to fight anywhere, anytime, anyone. So how you feel about that, Science Center? Because we are very pumped for the UFC 312 after Israel Sindaya got knocked out. So,
yeah, absolutely. Izzy did get knocked out his last fight out. We'll see what happens with his future of the sport. I'm super excited for Sean Strickland to get his rematch here in, I believe, Sydney, Australia, if I am correct, on Saturday at the whatever arena it's at. I should know this, but anyway, that being said, it should be a fun fight. He's versus DPP again. We're gonna get to that as we move on with the show, but overall, in general, just a fun fight. I will say this though, I did see at the interview when I was watching the press conference that it does look like Sean Strickland has staph infection, so hopefully he's ready to go by the start of the time the fight starts. That being said, I don't think staph infection will stop a guy like Sean Strickland, but it is just going to be overall a fun night of fights, and make it. Hopefully, it goes down as we all think it's going to go down. But that being said, I'm back over to you, Rafael. Have a fun fight card to talk about.
Yep, exactly. But also before go like the main event, which is gonna be so realistic. All right, so right now we're gonna set it off with the main card, which is the UFC
absolutely.
12. We got Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. Now, this one is going to be really interesting because Jake Matthews, it's really like someone that gave him more than enough praise over the years for the evolution as a fighter. But I don't think it's going to be itself to break it into the top 15 anytime soon, because Matthews is a very well-rounded fighter, excellent wrestling base, newfound skill set on the feet, striking defense that allow him to avoid devastating strikes and tenacity to fire back, just like much volume. It's kind of like really absorbent, and look at it's beautiful to watch. However, he's not invulnerable to strike, and since Prado carries a lot of hold power, everything he throws, I don't think that's really early that Matthews made his reads, and that was correlated to Prado's attacks. Now, Prado has very one suspension under his belt at the UFC, and that is against a fairly lackluster Otman Asetiar, because I know that Prado is a well-rounded fighter who's been like insane power on his hands, but the athleticism is someone who doesn't know how to use the power in any slick way, but everything goes through like the big attacks, emotions that is just talent that Matthews is well like at the count of the any about the sequence or that action that Prado use. I cannot confidently say that Prado is going to be like it against Matthews, because I know that he's very capable and adjusting his own style. But I most like, for the Carrington count, I got Matthews winning that one. Don't quite very enough is gonna win this one, but I think it's gonna be very methodical enough to make it as one hit to scoreboard. So I'm gonna do it with Matthews, unanimous decision at the round number one.
Yeah, I think this. I wouldn't say easy work for Jake Matthews, but I definitely got Jake Matthews in this one. I just think he honestly fought the better level of competition, and he's fighting at home with the home crowd supporting him. He's gonna have probably a lot of fans in the building, and that's gonna draw energy to go out there and try to go to war with Francisco. Now, I do agree with you, Rafael. Francisco is lesser of the fighter in my mind. He does have that great ability to knock someone out with that power, but outside of skill wise, I think Jake Matthews is all around the better fighter. And for that being said, I'm gonna go with Jake Matthews. His last loss, I know, was just one fight ago, but that was from Michael Morales, and Michael Morales is out here beating everybody. So he's out here still, I believe he's 17-0 now, undefeated. And before that, he had a good performance. He got flowers in a rear naked choke. So he shows the ability to wrestle with people. He shows this ability to strike with people. Now his main goal is probably to take it to the ground and try to work his ground game and try to work his submission game. But Jake Matthews does have knockouts in his career. So I'm gonna go with the Celtic kid. I'm gonna go with Jake Matthews on this one.
Yes, sir. All right, so next one we got Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellator. Now, this one is gonna be like a really tough case to talk about because Crute, he showed up like an incredible promise early in his career, has leaned onto the heartbreak and sadness for Crute fans because I do not believe that has very advantage on the field unless he tries to carry the logic out of the window that makes like a gritty slobber knocker, which is very a possibility. But I think that weekend versus the relic with the grappling because they have capability to strike on the feet along with the rage fighter, and because he was coming out of the fight over like one half of the years in activity. So also that raised the concerns because a lot of change someone that is styled that amount of the time, but he could like have come to this fight a little anxiety, surrendered his future. But Bellator has only one fight at the UFC, and it was against Porteria, which perhaps it had one more. Entry-level fighters can face the most part Bellator did well, finish the fights with solid ground and pound. Also, he's a threat to a lot of disappointments on the field because he knows he throws everything into those punches. But again, it's gonna be really hard to tell what is gonna be a fight against mediocre competition. It was a little bit competitive until the final sequence, which landed like ground and pound attack. I mean, there's gonna be like close to the fighters. I simply make sure there's another Australian fighter because that event is Australia. Because I have it as part of the card. Because it could be like a bit problematic, and I do think that Matthews has an ability to mix very well at MMA City. So I will do like for any reasons like that. They probably go to like Bellator for knockout round number 2 because I've been seeing like some wrestling grappling from Crute, but it's gonna be content with power. But it's really excited to watch. It will be really nervous to auto.
Yeah, this is another Australian, another local that's going to be on the fight court. Jimmy Crute, man, his career is basically all over the place at this point. He's, I believe, riding a 3-loss fighting streak. Early on in his career, he did go on a nice win streak, but since he kind of fought like some tougher opponents, it hasn't been really looking good for him. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. And Belito, on the other hand, only has one fight in the UFC, but he came in that one fight, and I believe Rafael mentioned it. He took Homie down and he ground and pound him in the second. He shows that he has the skills to compete in the sport. But let's see, this is a tough competition for him. And anybody that is in the UFC, I just want to salute them because it's such a hard business to even get into. And the fact that you're now in it, now you're gonna face the hardest challenger of your life in Jimmy Crute. but I honestly think he passed all the tests so far in his rise to get signed by the UFC or even to get an offer to the Contender Series. But he went out there, he won his fight, and he has already one fight in the UFC, which now he's more comfortable. So we're gonna see a more relaxed Bellator, and I believe Bellator's gonna take this one. I believe by knockout too, and I'm probably gonna pick the second, late first, maybe early second. I think he hurts Jimmy early. I think Jimmy definitely has the ability to be in the octagon, but I don't think he's ready for the movement of Bellator that's gonna show him. So he's gonna get hit. And I'm going with Bellator on this one. So I'm gonna stand. I believe we're two for two on the same side here. I believe we both took Jake Matthews and we both took Bellator. Go right ahead. Let's get it. I can't hear you. Maybe it's on my side though. Hold on.
Yeah, I know that my mic is still getting into it, but yes, because I was under the phone because I was trying to try the message. But the next one, we got heavyweight Telson Teixeira for the Dana White Competition Series versus Justin Tafa. Now, for Teixeira, it became like the biggest mystery for me because coming to the event, like every single time that they opened the fight card, the details on the event, I will say to myself, who in the actual fuck is Telson Teixeira? Why is it Fetcher about? Because I gotta tell you for this one, Telson Teixeira is a beast tall fighter who has 7-inch height and 9-inch reach advantage over heavy slobber knocker King of Bravley Tafa. Now with the strangling war, which is key, because unless you're Stefan Struve, which is case like there's like a statistic, because Teixeira looks like an interesting prospect who perhaps had a bit enough of he could shoot, but he can pass Tafa. I suspect he will do like something fine for like the rankings of the division one time that I would love to see that. Teixeira step into the body, used to reach the speed at his advantage. Now Tafa has very interesting competition. None of those wins are about like much of the scenes Saturday against Kings. Sure, but I can see that. But you should not count out Tafa as completely when it comes to like heavyweight bouts. Power, it's just like an ultimate factor. And Tafa can swing is a real fighter. Because swing is a word that he could be touched sloppy, and that's practically made Teixeira the perfect right to cross down his Dana White contender opponent. He survived the storm, but I just wanted to watch this and see what happens. It could be like either other way, but I just wanted to get over to get to the part of the fight that actually matters. Basically, I got Teixeira winning that one, but it's going to be extremely 50-50, and it doesn't really surprise that they finish out the distance. So I will do between Telson Teixeira as a knockout at the round number 3.
Yeah, this fight just fucking confuses me, man. I'm sorry for cussing there, fam, but it really does. I mean, like, you got an undefeated fighter that really has fought nobody to even hold your head on. I mean, like, I don't even know what to make of this kid. I can't even judge him to the point where, I want to become a fan. Now, what he should do is go out there and finish Tafa, because I don't think Tafa is a good fighter. I think Tafa needs to not even be in the UFC at this point. He's not winning fights in dramatic fashion unless it's really against nobodies. And I'm not saying Parker's a nobody. I'm just saying nobody that's going to be champion anytime soon ever. So it's almost like his run in the UFC has been absolutely horrific. Like, this is a fighter that now he's getting fed. I just got done respecting anybody who fights for the octagon, but when you see other heavyweights go out there and do these things to the top 15, and then you have Tafa, it's almost like you're just there to fill out a roster spot. It's like he hasn't really done anything to prove himself worthy of getting a big time opponent, and every time he gets a big time opponent, he loses. So it's almost like his career is at a stalemate, and then they're gonna go feed him up and comer that literally fought nobodies. Now you can add this guy's fight record of the opponents he fought, and outside of maybe Arthur Lopez in the 6-1, and now he has Tafa, a 7-4. Tafa is gonna be his biggest level of competition, and this is the UFC doing Teixeira a favor. He should go out there and he should absolutely put his name on the map and go out there and finish Tafa. If he doesn't finish Tafa, it's okay. It's still his first fight. But
Exactly.
Tafa, as a veteran, should come in here and demolish this guy. But Tafa won't because it's Tafa. And I'm gonna go with this year. I just don't like Tafa as a fighter, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. But there's a lot of fighters
There you go.
that when I'm talking about, like, I'm not saying they don't train hard, but you know, it's kind of like basketball, right? You know the centers that's gonna go out there and really guard the rim like his life depending on it, and then you have the centers that's just basically gonna take the night off and let anybody who's who, the fucking eighth man on the bench is gonna lay up on them, drive in on them, and you're like, well, are you gonna not play basketball tonight? And it's almost like I feel like if you're in any collegiate any pinnacle of any sport, whether it be the NBA, the top of the top, or whether it be the UFC, the best mixed martial fighting organization on the planet, there comes almost a sign of respect. And I'm not saying everybody can have an off night, and everybody deserves to have an off night, but fighters that really don't give it their all irritate the fuck out of me, because that's a level B organization mentality, and I think that Dana White should cut them immediately. And Tafa's on borderline there. I'm not saying he's one of those fighters, but I want him to come on and I want him to dust this kid, but he won't, and he'll probably get dusted by the kid. So I'm gonna pick the Brazilian. I'm gonna pick the kid here, and I just want to see an exciting fight.
Yeah,
Was that
exactly.
mean? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just stating the obvious, Boski.
That's a straight fact. I mean, I just wanted to tell you because I know he's a beast, but I just wanted to realize that he's like an amazing prospect. And
Put no chills comment up. Put no chills comment up, because I respect that. And I absolutely do. When you watch him in the LFA, this guy can be a prospect, can go out there and he can be something. So if you're gonna be that kind of prospect, I want you to go out there and I want you to knock out Tafa, because Tafa ain't nobody. Now, he's somebody. He's obviously somebody. He's a family member. He's a son. I respect him as a human. But in fighting, it's almost like the UFC is feeding you Tafa. You should go get the job done, because the fighters that he's fighting, he didn't really fight nobody yet. Tafa's going to be his toughest opponent. So go out there and do what you did to all those LFA fighters, but to Tafa. You do that, and then now we can start talking. And Tafa, as a fighter, you're 500 in the UFC. So go out there and win a fight that you should win. Tafa should win this fight, but he probably won't. You know what I'm saying? He probably going to get knocked out. He probably going to get knocked out.
Yes, sir. All right. So I'm going to read those comments right now. They say, salute to Robert Peñas in the building. Salute to you. Also, No Chill MMA. They say, just got done watching LFA, which is the Legacy Fighting Allegiance. Brazil has some awesome guys coming out right now. So salute to you, No Chill.
Absolutely.
Also, next up, we got like the co-main event, the Women's Strawweight Championship bout between Willie Shen versus Tatiana Suarez. Now, Shan has been like an incredible, fantastic addition for the UFC. And each of her fight, we've been seeing like her grow and prosper. Coming out for a Sanda background, we expected like the brilliant kickboxing. So that's what it got so much impressive that the first round knockout over Andrade early in her career, her recent wins against Joanna, Lemus, and Shan. We've been seeing Shan retain her belt with relative else. However, the question is surrounding the fight. Can she defend the takedown attempts from Suarez? Now, because Suarez is like a bit of mystery. And I don't mean it's like, oh, I don't know her, but kind of the way, but more to describe how she's going for that weekend. See, the entire career has been riddled with injuries and personal challenges that somehow disrupted his prime years. But I think she's going to be back and she's taking on Sean the belt so we can finally have some interesting fights in that division. I mean, obviously, it's going to be one to wrestle, because I expect minimal strikes being thrown down Suarez unless it's going to be enter the range of which she get takedowns or they clinch to tire out Shank and make those takedowns a lot more excessive, because that's going to be like a great fight. A fight that all those fans we wanted so long, mostly to see the division continuously move on the progress, but also stylistically, it's a fascinating fight and could be like a new champion. So I know my prediction is going to be really simple. Willie Shan as a knockout round number 3, because my hesitations are really spoken. But my concerns is for Shan's takedown defense are so prevalent. But I just think that Shan is going to be continued, that almost is going to be extremely prepared.
I love it. What's up, Gord? Thank you for joining us tonight. That
Hello,
being
Gord.
said, I respect that. My prediction is a little bit different. I will just say this to lay it out. While Lee has fought the way better competition, there's no doubt about that. While Lee's out here fighting the who's who, her two losses in the UFC, I believe, was recently was 2-0s, that back to back. But ever since then, she's on a 4-fight win streak, doing her thing, defending her championship twice against high level competition. And you have Tatiana that's just absolutely been on the tear. Now, the whole objective to this fight is to get Ray Lee to the ground, because I do think if Tatiana can get the champ to the ground, it's her fight. I also want to see Tatiana's stand up, because the whole fight, every fight starts on its feet. Ray Lee can go out there, and I won't be surprised if Ray Lee goes out there and pieces her up. But it's all a matter of how good Ray Lee's takedown defense is, and how big she improved from her last fight out. Because as a champion, sometimes you can get kind of stagnant, and I don't think Ray Lee's that champion to get stagnant. I think Ray Lee is still forever improving, but I also do believe that it's I don't know for sure if this is a good matchup for Ray Lee. I kind of have the feeling, kind of what Morab did to Sean O'Malley not too long ago. I don't say really
Exactly.
doesn't have a chance, because she's definitely the champion for a reason. But I just think this is a bad matchup for her, and that's why my money's going to be on Tatiana. I do believe that Tatiana gets it down, and I do like her story. I do like her confidence, and it
Sure.
kind of feels that she is walking around deservingly so as already the champion. She fought way harder battles than battles she's fought in the cage. She's fought battles in her personal life, and I do believe that has prepared her for the moment to go out there and to take this. The odds makers in Vegas has her as the favorite, and they clearly know stuff, because they're the odd makers. And don't get me wrong, I beat them a lot of times, but this time I'm gonna ride with Tatiana to get it done. I say 11-0 and new strawweight champion of the world, Tatiana
Mhm.
Shores. I just see Maul. I just see Maulin on the ground. Does Ray Lee survive? Who knows? I think Ray Lee's a champ for a reason, so it is gonna get up to the feet. It is gonna start the new rounds, but I do believe as soon as Tatiana gets her on the ground, she's going to remain on the ground. And then if the round ends, it's going to start back on the feet. But we'll see. Who knows what could happen? Soares should go out there and knock her out. Would that happen? Probably not. But we've seen it happen before. But that being said, my money's on Tatiana. I think this is the first fight we actually pick differently.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
Mhm.
sir. All right. So the last one is going to be the main event, which is the middleweight championship bout. Because if you guys remember, the last year, we just had Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland, and Dricus du Plessis took the belt from Sean Strickland 1 year ago. But right now, it seems that because this weekend, it's not only about the UFC, but also it's the Super Bowl, which is the New Orleans, between Kansas City Chiefs versus Philadelphia Eagles. And I understand, as a Las Vegas Raiders fan, we don't like the Kansas City Chiefs, just like the New
And New
York
York
Giants.
Giants fans, yeah, we don't like the Eagles. So I'm going for the Chiefs. You're probably
Exactly,
going for the
exactly.
Eagles. Yeah. That's
Exactly,
okay.
exactly. So right now it seems that they have a point of revenge, because this time is gonna be to Cruz Duplessis versus Sean Strickland, the part two. Now for the Cruz Duplessis, will Leslie Moore receive like a lot of praise, because they have been nothing loyal but him. But despite the fact it's breaking his fights down, it's like trying to describe what it's gonna be quite simplistically to break down the style. And the reason I'm fascinated, because that fight was figured it out the day they fought. I won't say there was a robbery or anything like that, but it was clear that Dricus du Plessis, the DAP, loses a magnificent as a fighter, and he's giving jab all the face all the time, because doesn't exactly have the style. Excellent kickboxing fundamentals, but he throws our traditional stance, moving out of the window, absorb chaos, master rhythm. I mean, is that enough to fight a second time? Sure, because DDP power has overwhelmed every aspect of the fighter's thinking. Because make things a little tread on the feet and the ground, and I firmly believe that DDP can do much around this weekend. So between for Sean Strickland, somehow deserve this opportunity, because I throw mostly there because I'm marketably and not for the merit stuff. Because Strickland's the basic one to break down, because he really changed the style of the fights. Walks forward, tick with the body, jabs with the face, kicks the legs every now and then. bring me like the top of opponent to land at a field show. Now I guarantee there's like another one because Strickland does wear his opponent like every time the opponent standing against him. The worst of it to come after the long round. Strickland's very simple. I mean, blanket style, that's a basic thing that Dricus Duplessis can expose, but also I think the jab and the team, they are disruptive to the chaos, and that is due like between Israelis and their top process of fighting. Methodological, a computer that can read moving at his opponent before returning accordingly. But it seems like the more that programming through the basic, rise to guard with something coming out of the way, deep and jab to the move at the tower to distance, standard combinations, which is like much of the simplicity. But I know I understand it's gonna be like a close enough. You already know that's gonna happen like in a long time, but I'm really worried that DDP was aiding too many shots. And it looked like after 5 rounds. So I hope that it's gonna be really clumsy, but don't be surprised if Sean Strickland coming up against that belt. Because we've been seeing like the first time when Dricus Duplessis won over Sean Strickland. But don't be surprised if the round number 2 is going to take it with Sean Strickland.
Beautifully said. Yeah, I'm just going to start my take by saying I hope the judges are fair to the sport of MMA.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, no matter the antics outside the cage, I just truly believe that the judges can respect the sport. Easier said than done with MMA judges, but we'll see what happens. First fight, absolutely. Sean Strickland won that fight. There's no doubt in my mind that he won that fight. He was absolutely piecing DPP up. The headbutt comes, and obviously the judges were blind. They probably thought that in those kind of fights, you know, damage matters. Damage does matter, but that damage came from a headbutt. So that being said, how much did that really matter? But regardless of the point, I know the judges wasn't too thrilled with how he was talking about the Canadian people. So that being said, I never truly believe that judges should get in the way of what these fighters do outside of the cage. Now, if you go off and you do something that's really extreme, obviously let Dana White handle it. He is the president, as we just seen a couple of weeks ago what Dana White just got to handle. But that being said, though, getting back to this fight, we do get rounds 6 to 10. I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch the first fight before this fight because I just think that's the way to do it. And I do honestly believe that DPP shouldn't succeed with the fighting style that he has. I mean, like that's not how you're supposed to fight. I know there's no right or wrong way to fight, but obviously he broke that stigma real quick because his fighting style looks really predictable. Looks like you could just step back and counter him, but easier said than done. My co-host right above me, you know, said it perfectly. The guy is durable. Absolutely, but how much can you really take? You know, you've been in 24 wars after wars after wars, and if you really think about it, you know, you have been going on the streak as of lately, but I do believe that you are going against someone that truly believes that it's his time and it has been his time, and he's gonna try to bring back that bout, and he's gonna give it everything he got. Going back to Sean Strickland, it's almost like I do respect DPP. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I just don't like his fighting style, and then I'm not. Call me a hater if you guys want to. I'm gonna accept that. I just don't like his fighting style. And if you look at Sean Strickland, I absolutely love his fighting style. I think that's a good foundation that he has. And you know, honestly, would that survive in the sport of boxing? Probably not. But it's MMA, and that survives there. That being said, though, like I do love the energy he gets from the fans at the press conference, but I am concerned about his staph infection. He does have staph infection, exactly. And I do want to know what his thoughts are alone in his hotel room by himself when his team leaves and he's just in his thoughts. I really want to know because Sean Strickland obviously is a man's man, but people would say, and if you really think about it, he's probably not the person to complain or to whine or to make an excuse. And obviously he's gonna go out there and fight regardless. But even though your brain wants to do something and you think you can do something, when you finally get in the moment, can your body keep up? Staph really weakens your body, weakens your system. It really takes a hold. No fighter should be fighting on staph. But that being said, I hope he comes out strong, man, because I really do believe that besides all his stupid his antics he makes and shit, I do believe that we are looking at should be our middleweight champion, and by all means, the people champion. I respect DPP if he comes out and wins this fight. Obviously, he's the champ for a reason. He should win this fight. But my money's on Sean here. I'm gonna go with Sean. I'm just like I don't know, man. I've been emotionally attached to him for a long time now, and I like he's finally getting the respect that he deserves. When I feel that he should have got that respect before his motorcycle accident. A lot of people know Sean Strickland after his motorcycle accident, but a lot of people forget the Sean Strickland that was coming up before his motorcycle accident. That was a major prospect that had the whole world at his footsteps. But at the end of the day, injuries happened. But I'm glad that he's finally getting the respect that I knew that he would get. And I give a fuck what anybody says. You have a freedom of speech in this country, and he should use it to whatever things he wants to say. It's his choice. So that being said, I'm gonna go with Sean Strickland.
Yep, exactly. And I'll do the same because I know that I'm gonna to like real life between Sean Strickland because I know there's gonna be like a sweet revenge. All right, so before we're wrapping this out, because this is like the preview of the UFC 312, we have some like bad news because the BW go retires Dominic Cruz. Because honestly, I mean, between for like the news, I mean, he should retire years ago because
I'm not even sad about that. Dominic Cruz been retired in my mind for the last 5 years. I'm sorry. Let's have a moment for Dominic, but shout out to Dominic. You know what I'm saying? Continue though, not to interrupt. But I didn't even know. I thought he was retired already. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was a part-time fighter. Comes back when he wants, but he officially retired.
Yeah, I thought it was because he should retire because I know his body has always fucked up with injuries. I thought he had like already retired after Cheeto Bear and nearly decapitated him. But it's really sad because in his day he was doing like something special. It took like all the experience to give like the greatest title fight performance in Cody. I mean, just show what these people go through and try to be like the best. But it's so like a pleasure to watch about these people on their journey. It became successful or not, because at the age of the injuries, probably had a good amount would do, but it seems like fighters were able to hit him like towers and at the end with his movements on the outside. But I think that doesn't mean we'll hear like more human out of the boots. But I was like really sad to go into the bank and have like crowded at the end of the ovation because of retirement.
No, I now do. You know, honestly, I was just making a joke about him because I really thought he was retired. But that being said, I mean, like, I get it. You know, I love legends of the sport, especially when it comes from the smaller divisions because they don't get as much love. I do respect that everybody does think of Mighty Mouse as one of the best fighters of all time because he absolutely is. But when it comes down to the people that actually paved the road, and actually put in the work. I'm not saying Mighty Mouse didn't. I'm just saying, you know, you think of the name like Dominic Cruz, you know, and Uriah Faber, and what those guys meant for the smaller divisions, you know, coming over from the WEC and then putting on the shows in the UFC and having his damn rival Uriah Faber that could never beat him, formulate a whole team, you know, Alpha Male Academy to try to beat this guy. I mean, like Dominic Cruz, whether you want to admit it or not, definitely dominated the sport for a long time. He literally was a reigning champion for a period of a number of years, and we can't ever forget that. And I've loved the fact that you did bring that up because as much as I joke, like, oh, I thought he was retired, all I see him do is commentate. I do love that he is commentating because when you have a legend like that, and when you have the IQ, the fight IQ that Dominic Cruz has, the fighting style that he has for about over a decade, for 12 to 13 years, nobody could figure out his fighting style. And that just takes a lot of skill, a lot of evolution, and he just brought something different to the sport. So I know sometimes we worship names like Ronda Rousey, and we worship names like Conor McGregor. I honestly, you know how we categorize these MMA fighters, right? We got our GOATs, we got our pioneers, we got our legends. You know, I would say that he definitely is a pioneer. You know, he definitely is a pioneer of the sport. Now, he might not go down as the best bantamweight champion of all time, but he definitely will go down there as one of the pioneers of the bantamweight division. Hands down, he's one of the guys that paved the road. So shout out to Dominic Cruz in your retirement. Hope to see you calling my MMA fight soon. And I'm glad that my co-host Raphael let us have this moment for you. So jokes aside, man, you had an amazing career. And there's nothing to hang your head on.
Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to tell you because I know that. I
Wait,
have
real fast. I know this is the Combat Club. Boy,
Yes.
you a Lakers fan?
Yes.
Damn, you got
Because
lucky with that Luca trade,
we
huh? Damn
because
near
let me tell
wild, the
you for this
Mavericks.
something. Let me just tell you for something because I really thought that Luka Doncic got traded between for Dallas Mavericks to go to Los Angeles Lakers, and then Anthony Davis had just moved to Los Angeles Lakers to Dallas Mavericks. I was just like, holy fuck! I did not expecting this. I mean,
Bro,
I
me
was
too.
like, holy snap! Because after we just seen like Luka Doncic given like his best career at the Dallas Mavericks, I mean, holy snap! Because after that, I was watching the Trade Madness. I was like, holy snap! Now they just got some real deal.
But that's straight like that's scary. That's scary good.
I know that's scary
Can't,
about it.
can't wait to see him and Legend LeBron on the court together. If anybody, and this is the first time. I know this is the Combat Club, so just give us 5 minutes to talk basketball.
Yes.
But I'm a huge basketball fan. As
Yeah, I understand
if you
about
think
it.
about it, man, this is the first time in over 20 fucking plus years that LeBron James is not the best player on his team. That is
Yeah.
just mind boggling. And you think of Luca, the game moves for him, the way he moves around the game, like you play at Luca's pace. He doesn't play at the game's pace. You play at Luca's pace. That's LeBron James, bro. That's an imprint of LeBron James. And when LeBron James retires, this sets the team up for 10 years. Absolutely hate the Lakers for doing this. The rich gets richer, but respect them, obviously. If I'm the Mavericks, you're idiots. My thoughts on the Mavericks is literally you could have shopped him. If you're gonna get rid of Luca, shop him. Nothing against Anthony Davis, but dog, the Sixers probably would have gave you Maxey and Embiid. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, though, shout out to the Lakers for getting Luka, man. That's a scary roster. We did get Andrew Wiggins. Happily, we'll take him with open arms.
Yes, it is.
He played a big part in the Warriors championship run, the last one out. Hopefully he can combine with Tyler Hero, Bam, and Khalil Ware, man, Rookie of the Month. Let's get it. Miami Nation, bro. We just know how to develop players. I don't have my Miami.
Yeah.
We
I really understand.
come to Miami. We develop players. I'm gonna just tell you that. Good luck, Golden State with Jimmy. Good luck with that one. But that being said, though, thank you, man, for another great episode of Combat Club.
Exactly. Also, make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho and my co-host Science Zenith. So we are very excited to be back right now on this episode number 34 at the UFC 312. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys for joining us. And of course, I just wanted to tell you, this is the Combat Club with the Mission Martial Arts, boxing and wrestling fans who are united to hang out with a podcast where we give you like a close-up of previews and reviews of the pay-per-views that are trending in the world of combat sports during the weekend. In this club, we're born to fight anywhere, anytime, anyone. So make sure to subscribe to my co-host, Science Senate. Also, you can follow me on every social media on X, as now as Twitter, Instagram, Rumble. And I just wanted to tell you, have a great night, have a great weekend, and of course, just like the words say, let's get it. All right? Salute to y'all.